Hello, my name is Lauren and welcome to today's video. So in today's video I want to talk about how to play soft high notes on the flute and how to make them sound easy and effortless and kind of relaxed. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and this can take time, so just be patient. If this is something you're struggling with, just know that it's something that can take time, and to kind of just be patient with yourself and kind of acknowledge the small successes along the way. So yeah, let's get into it. So basically I want to start off by talking about the basic setup for when you play the flute. I feel like I almost feel like this is important to talk about before anything when we do flute tone, and I've talked about it in a lot of my other videos around tone. So I'll link a video up here and maybe in the description called How to Get Rid of the Air in Your Sound, because I know I talked a lot about the setup in that video, but I'm just going to briefly go over that in this video. So most important things with having the right setup are that you're covering about 1/3 of the embouchure hole with your bottom lip. This can vary a little bit. You may cover slightly more than 1/3, but the important thing is not to sound covered. The important thing is that you sound open, free, resonant, ringy, and easy. That's what we're going for. So you want to find that sweet spot. You don't want to put the lip plate on your lip, especially if you have thin lips like me. You want to put it below the lip. So yeah, so I'm covering, I'll just say like 1/3 of the embouchure hole of the flute. Another thing you want to make sure of in your setup when you're working on soft high notes is that you're always mindful of your jaw being relaxed. This is super important, and it's really common for people to want to tense their jaw when they go up to the high notes. So make sure you're just kind of relaxing it, dropping it, feeling like almost like a taller shape inside the mouth as you go up to those high notes. So maybe a round shape for the middle register and a taller shape for the high register. It's kind of what a lot of people wouldn't think to do for their high notes, but that's really helpful. And then pouty, relaxed lips, kind of like this. So not tight lips, not rolled in lips, not pulling the corners back, but just like kind of pouty, and relaxed, supple kind of lips. Allow the air to pass through the wet inner lining of the lips when you play. Don't roll the lips in. Okay, so that's what I'll say about setup. That's very important. But yeah, I'll link that video, How to Get Rid of the Air in Your Sound, below, so that you can also check that out, because I think I go into that a little bit more thoroughly. So yes, so playing softly versus playing loudly. I'll go over that really quick, which I'll actually link another video up here and in the description, because I know I've also talked about this in another previous video. But basically playing loudly, this is a Numo Pro. You want to aim the air down, and it's kind of fast air, bigger lip opening. So just show you really quickly with the Numo Pro. More or less, that's what a loud note would be. And then a soft note simulated on the Numo Pro might be a little bit more cross, a little bit higher, and a little bit much smaller aperture, loops forward, jaw relaxed, and spinning the fan a little higher. So it may not be exactly the way it is like on the real flute, but this is a good visual I like to use to kind of show what the differences are between loud and soft playing. So now that that's taken care of, I want to talk about some exercises I like to use to work on developing soft playing. So I think it's really important to start in the staff, with the notes in the staff. So the B and the staff. An exercise I'm going to be playing right now is from page 16 of Trevor Wise' Tone Book 1, number 11. And I'll just put the notes on the screen anyway, if you don't have the exercise. It's easy to memorize if you know your chromatic scale. That's basically what it is. So yeah, I'll just play it, but I'll play it very softly. So very softly, and all notes in the staff. Then it goes up by a half step. So I started on B, then I would go to C and do the same thing. 5 notes chromatic going up, very gradually, and just work on that. And I like to emphasize the tapering off of the last note is where you can really kind of finesse the lips more and more, and see how softly you can get it, how much you can control the pitch while you're slowing down the air more and more. You have to bring your lips forward, you have to get that aperture smaller. Sometimes I even will tell students to feel like their flute is lifting up and away from them as they are tapering off the note at the end. So I'll go a few higher. And actually I'll do a few close up in the camera as well. So I'll start on the next one, C. So it's also important to note that as you're getting softer, it's still important to engage your ab muscles and kind of support the air so it doesn't go flat. That's another thing, to keep the support going. Just like when you're talking, it's almost like when you're running out of air and you're talking and talking and you're not taking a breath, your stomach gets tighter and tighter, so I'm not breathing, but I need to take a breath, but my stomach's just getting tighter and tighter, so I can keep my voice going. And so that's what we need to do in flute playing too. Often when we're finishing the note, we need to remember to keep our stomach involved. So that's important too. So now, after doing this exercise, so you go chromatically, so you start on B, 5-note chromatic scale, C, 5-note chromatic scale, always holding the last note and finessing the lips to see how quietly you can play. All the way up chromatically, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, all the way to G, where you'll go G, A flat A, B flat B. So you'll be above the staff now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just write it out and have a little printout on my website. So I'll link that in the description below too, just so it's all clear. And so there's that. And then I'll introduce the other exercise. So this might be something you do after you do that middle register exercise I just showed you. Then try this one, which is the ghost harmonics exercise. When you get comfortable with this, then go back and try the exercise I just showed you 1 octave higher. But that would be like the last exercise. But the ghost harmonics is something I've talked about before, where you play the high note, but you start in the low register. You do the high note fingering, and you just underblow it, but you play it very soft with the soft tone, good embouchure, good setup. So I'll play a high D, but I'm underblowing it. And so then I'll just gradually, ever so slightly increase my airspeed, and if my positioning is healthy, I'm going to get the high D out. So I'm not going to tense the jaw or pinch the lips or anything like that. I'm just going to speed up the air and keep it loose jaw, pouty, puckered lips. That's my goal, more than even getting the high note out. So I'll do a few ghost harmonics up close in the camera right now. Right, and I also want to show you just how much I'm covering of the embouchure hole. My lips are really far forward. Even when I cover a little less, it starts to sound really airy. So you just have to find that sweet spot where it doesn't sound like covered, but it sounds open, free, resonant, ringy. All right, so those are the ghost harmonics. So I would definitely maybe set a timer for that one, because that can be a little possibly like fatiguing for the lips at first if you're not used to doing that and making those subtle adjustments with the aperture towards the end when the note is trickling off. And yes, the tendency is to go flat if you're not paying attention. So I like to think of the flute lifting up and out, aperture getting smaller, the stomach supporting to keep the air up, and also, yeah, that's some good basics for gradually getting softer at the end of a note. But yeah, and then after you feel comfortable with those two exercises, then I would go back and do the chromatic one I introduced originally 1 octave higher, and that's about it. All right, so I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some helpful ideas to know where to begin if you're wanting to get softer, easier sounding high notes. So yeah, I can't emphasize enough to not tense the jaw and to keep pouting the lips. Those are the two most common things I see that go away when somebody starts playing a lot of high notes and they're starting to struggle. So those are two things like I want to emphasize, and almost, I mean, I just feel like I've been emphasizing it a lot in my tone videos lately because it's so very common to want to tense the jaw and pull the corners back in the lips. So pouty, especially in soft playing, and relaxed jaw. So thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more tutorial videos like this one, comment below if you have helpful exercises you'd like to use to get softer high notes. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!